Okay, I got a nice pile of activity going on here. Plenty of clutter, tools, wires, all kinds of stuff. And we're doing the initial programming. I have Radial Rocket entered my Spectrum transmitter, which Mitch from Tailwinds Hobbies will be very proud of me because I resisted this technology for so long. Anyway, I've got it hooked up. I've been working on the control systems, which doesn't look like there's much to it, but for me, it's a lot of work to get right. And at this point, we got the fuselage servos all set up. Got my elevator servo here, rudder over here. Throttle, I like to use these micro servos because they're so weight saving. And if the linkage is installed correctly, there should be almost no resistance to them, so they're more than powerful enough for the job. I'm using this smaller Spectrum receiver. This is all just set up. It's going to get a different receiver when it actually flies. But this shows the throttle operation once there'll be an engine right here. I cut a hole in the firewall that I've calculated will let me plumb the fuel tank, which is not done yet. I've got to be in the mood for that because it's kind of like voodoo. And little servos growling. Hush up. So this is what I've done so far that I've been putting off. I've decided to just simply go with the factory installation of these landing gear, and it's going to limit the Radial Rocket to landing and taking off pavement because the way it's made, any kind of real stress on this gear is going to open up the wing in a traumatic way. I've got this beautiful fuselage flipped over and going to demonstrate the controls. Try to. It's difficult to do with trying to video at the same time. You saw the throttle working. The rudder is operated by this stick, which moves the rudder, of course. The other side of the transmitter is your elevator, and this is the setup for it. The airplane is kind of dingy. It's been in storage for a long time, but I chased away the mice, and I'm determined to get it up and flying fairly soon. The servos are embedded in the wing. They haven't been permanently attached yet. The Radial Rocket is going to have flaps. I wasn't a big fan of flaps until I flew Draco and the Carbon Cessna 150, and they are a big plus. They will really help with the Radial Rocket because these are not very big wings for the weight that this airplane is going to be picking up. Kind of a GB, kind of a Focke-Wulf, and kind of a blend. Big round fuselage, big for me anyway. So hopefully we're going to have this going, and then I'm going to send Pete his own personal video to show that I could make it fly. Got to kind of prove it to myself too. But that's where we're at. And this was unfortunately, my slow pace, this was a full day's work just getting the push rods threaded and installed. It's a whole lot of little nitpicking work. It doesn't look like it would take much, but it takes me a while. Anyway, this is my report, and it'll be farther along the next time. Maybe it'll have that big OS engine hanging on its nose when you see it again. And speaking of the OS, just a quick shot. This is what's going to be hanging on the front of the Radial Rocket. Hopefully get a nice deep rumble, and maybe not a whole lot of speed, but I'm really counting on some vertical pull ability. We'll find out.